Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
It's been a rough couple weeks, see? I'll do anything for McDonald's, man.
Obviously so. I see nothing's changed in 20 years.
No. You know, you can only eat healthy for so long, and that's, it's just so you have money. And when you don't have money, the old McDonald's meal. Yeah, I'm going against the rules here. Where he's always like, "No, don't be bringing that McDonald's over here and eating." Yeah, look, you got that voice. You're the one.
Yeah, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. Well, I just feel bad. You look malnourished. You haven't eaten in about a week.
I haven't eaten about a week. About 5 weeks, man. Look at me. I got flies in my eyes. I was like those little Feed the Kids commercial over there for like save the hungry or something. No offense against people that are hungry. You know what I mean? But I'm sitting there swatting these things away from me.
Push that microphone back a little bit from you. Now you're too damn close. Now you're gonna eat.
Sitting there chowing on some fries and a burger. It's catered.
Do you know that I have been very protective of the space in here? Like, I even yell at you when you would do popcorn, remember? Like, because it would stink up the place.
Dude, I'll ruin anything. I'll come into a space and I will just ruin it.
There's been no fast food in this place since, ever.
Yeah, look,
first for everything. Pizza, nothing.
First for everything.
Plenty of alcohol has run through
I brought the booze. I brought the popcorn. Hell, I brought my gear down here how many years ago, and it's still here.
It's still yours. I don't know if by laws that's still yours or not. Pennsylvania laws. You know all about Pennsylvania laws.
I know all about Pennsylvania laws. I can tell you all kinds of wonderful things.
All right, man. So, are we going back on lockdown?
You know what? It's hard to say. I imagine that. It probably would be the best thing, just for a little bit. Not that I want it on lockdown, but I'm going stir crazy sitting at the house doing absolutely nothing.
Well, what does lockdown look like to you, though? Like, in terms of when you say lockdown, like, will I be able to work? Will realtors be able to show houses and do the things we've been doing through COVID?
Well, you know what? I imagine, I'm not the governor, but I imagine that some of these things should be deemed essential. Wear your mask. That's the easiest thing to do is just wear a damn mask.
Right.
And you wash your hands. That's
you have to tell people to do that.
That's what blows my mind. You have to tell people, wash your hands. Did you wash your hands? It's like I slather myself with hand sanitizer. It's not just for hands, man. You can put it on your face. You could put it, put it on your mask. Sit around and huff some hand sanitizer for a while, man. You get a good buzz off of it. But when you got to tell somebody, did you wash your hands? It's kind of
what's up with that?
Kind of messed up. It's like what is that? Bar Rescue, John Tapp. Hey, he's in there he just touched it with his hands. Could you imagine if they were doing that now? Like those shows from a year or two ago, where you see the cook's in there, he's got his hands, he's like throwing it down on the plate, you're supposed to put gloves on and stuff like. Oh my God! Now you have the COVID. Oh, he breathed on it.
Let me ask you this question. So when I was in a situation where we were making pizzas and hoagies back in the early '80s. The places I worked were very fastidious. We were told, by all means, you have to do this. But we were able to touch the hamburger buns, touch the hoagie buns, touch the salam and the cavacole and the lettuce. And we were just in our hands. There wasn't any plastic gloves.
I'm not eating there.
No, but that was like a thing back in the early 80s. And at what point in time did gloves become required?
See, all the places I worked at, man, we always had gloves. Yeah. But you could cross-contaminate shit, maybe we weren't dealing raw chicken.
I can't imagine what the hell.
But, you just throw some pepperoni on there.
People that make pizzas, right? You spin a pizza. I never see anyone wearing gloves spinning a
That's
pizza.
True.
And stretching a pizza out.
Here's how we're going to get around this, folks.
Right?
If you can spin a pizza and you can use it with your bare hands, if it's going to go in an oven for 15 minutes at 450 degrees. That's the new law. I just made that up right now.
Well, I'm sure that is
And
the
that's
law.
why, yeah.
I'm sure that.
It's like
I'm sure
every germ is like been cooked. It's like that's going to get cooked. What the fuck? It's like you and in that you could probably spit on a pizza before it goes in the oven.
You probably still will be okay. Not that you want to think about that before you eat the damn thing. So, we're doing a show, our UFO series we're doing with Julia and James. James, our resident UFO expert, I might say. Sir Freddy Kowalo and yours truly. Number 3 is coming up down here, right around Thanksgiving, or the holiday that's formerly known as Thanksgiving, because I guess this year it's been officially canceled. But
not for us.
No. Well, no. We're going to do the UFO thing too, and it's been amazing. Like, just the feedback's been insane. People are so. And we're not breaking new ground here. We're kind of like putting a hodgepodge, and then we have James's background, but we're touching on a lot of crazy subjects, that people have probably heard prior, but just maybe not explained in a certain way. But man, people dig it. I'm amazed at like this supernatural.
It's a fun show,
and the alien stuff is so popular.
It's a fun show. We touch it. So if you guys get a chance, check out all the different. We've had James on once by himself. And then me and Julia on twice.
Yeah.
So we're going to have another 4 coming up with all of us. But it's we touch on, like you said, it's a hodgepodge of.
And James Krug is amazing because he's been a longtime member of MUFON. He's also a man of science too. That's the great thing about it. This is a guy with a science background that also believes in other possibilities, which is so refreshing, man. That's you typically don't see that,
I think that's what makes the show so great, is you have a legit guy on there. Not just an idiot like me that's going. I saw on the internet.
The funniest thing was on one of these shows, Freddy was talking about something, and he's like, he got real quiet, and I looked over there, and he goes, "Do you think? Do you think, an insect?" No, what'd you say about like bacteria?
Bacteria,
yeah, little bacteria buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Because their lifespan is like a half of a second or something, right? But that's all they know, right?
It was a whole lifetime for them.
Yeah, it's a whole lifetime. And they have to notify their bacteria buddies that that some bad stuff's coming, right?
Exactly, man. If you think about it, and that's what we were talking about on that. It's all relative to the scale that you live on.
Right.
These cats, their lives are over in a half second, but they lived a whole lifetime. They did everything. They went to college. They grew up, went to school, went to college, wrecked a few cars, in their little bacteria land. And then it's over. And it's just like, wow. And so as you get bigger, things get... Your
time gets longer.
Yeah.
It's such a deep subject.
So and that's the kind of crazy. And we're not on drugs here.
No, it's a drug-free show, actually.
And imagine if we were, we could go on for just hours about that. But but we traveled down some rabbit holes, and they're fun shows. Yeah. So
and we're trying to do one. The schedule is to do it every 4 weeks or so. It's a little tougher with the Christmas and Thanksgiving, but according to everybody's schedule going into the new year, we're going to try to do every 4 to 5 weeks a new one, because it's been received so well. People just dig that stuff, man. And there's all kinds of craziness happening too. There's plenty of material.
Oh yeah, it never ends.
It's unbelievable.
It never ends.
Yeah, let's face it. This election was supernatural.
We don't talk politics here, but
we're talking
weekend tonight.
We're talking politics tonight. We have to. Look, I'm as pragmatic as they come. I honestly don't care. And there's a little bit of indifference. I'm very curious because it's fascinating. It's fascinating theater. I'm not saying it's always good theater, but it's fascinating to me. But man, the way we're treating each other, man, I didn't think it could get worse. It's kind of getting worse, Fred.
It is kind of getting worse. It's insane to see how much people will stick to their views and fight for those views, and really they're not that important, My thing is, and some people are going to get mad at me for saying this. Donald Trump, he cares about the people. No. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, he don't care about you. You know what? You can go down here down the rocks, or you can go down here in Coriopolis and go to the first bar, and you can see somebody sitting in there with their MAGA hat and stuff like that. Guess what? And they're going to tell you how great Trump was and what a great guy. Guess what? Nah, he doesn't give a fuck about you. And there's no way in hell he'd ever walk into that bar and sit down and associate with, because you have nothing in common. You're a worker to him. You're nothing.
Right.
And that's exactly. But you see these people out there going, he's not your friend. He doesn't want to be your friend. He doesn't even want to know you.
I get it, man. I really think
it's an illusion to them.
Well, on that vein, I think not enough time has gone by yet, but I believe there's going to be fascinating case studies that are going to be done about the Trump presidency as we get further away from it. It's going to look and shape and evolve and look different 2 years, 4 years, 8 years from now.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen, I think, is the study's going to be made if another celebrity doesn't happen to get elected, because that could happen.
Yeah, of course.
But if it doesn't happen, if we kind of resume what's been traditionally, politicians holding those positions, if we go back to the quote-unquote norm, not saying we should, I'm saying if we do, and we look at this as being a blip in history, it's really going to be studied. I think people fell in love with the celebrity.
That's exactly what it was.
That was branded as an outsider.
Exactly.
Now, where he was able to make hay was he actually took a lot of very rigid, conservative policies that were not really, sexy, even with Bush and with other Republicans. And he really went, some say far right, some use that nasty term alt-right. Don't even know what that means. Some people label, some people, alt-right. Some people label him as a racist, which I think is just insane. But I think that he took a very conservative standpoint, which served him well as a celebrity president, because it threw a big mushroom cloud into Washington, D.C., because everything was completely different.
He said he was going to shake it up, and he did. He made everything completely different.
But the question is it better? That's the thing, and that's where I think time will prove that out. Yeah, it's too early now.
Like anything, you have to
get away from it a little bit.
Exactly, you have to step back, take it in, take a look at it, and see what happens. My thing is he's not doing himself any favors resisting this. It's not being graceful, and
he is convinced, or at least he's putting forth, Fred, that he believes that there is a pathway to.
Yeah, it's not there.
Well, this is what I don't understand. Help me understand this, because this is the crux of the juxtaposition that I'm in. Big word, huh? I can't. You don't believe. You don't even believe where I got that word from, because you wouldn't believe me if I told you. The problem that I see is, even if he ends up being right, and hear me out, even if in a month from now there was enough bad votes and enough found votes that put him over Biden in a recount, a certified recount, even in these different states, even if that happened, what mechanism do we have as a society that would then nullify the declaration already of the president-elect? I mean, like, you really we would have a constitutional crisis, a big constitutional crisis.
Yeah. Well,
do we vote again? Do we have another election? What do we do?
Well, here's the thing with Biden. He said he's not, he's taking the high road on this. I'm not, saying I'm in, I'm out until it's certified, which is great. It
was smart, actually.
Well, it's very smart. It's the proper thing to do. Instead of pouting like a kid on a playground, there's not enough votes. Dead people are voting. It's just like, come on, man. And, but Biden's taking the high road, and that's a show of character. I think that's what a leader should do.
Yeah.
But it's me. I'm not all that political, but it's embarrassing, seeing the leader of your country throw a temper tantrum, acting like, for lack of a better, a buffoon. He's a clown. It's a clown show. And, it would be nice in this day and age, with all the tensions and all the things that are going on now, to have an easy transition.
We need that more than ever right now.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly it. Along those lines, that's what I think, this country needs. It needs a time to heal, and it needs a time to sit back and again, like Biden says, and that's something that I always thought. You get these weird little things where, if I was president, there would be no blue states, there would be no red states. It's about being the United States. Yeah. And this country's been divided over the past 4 years. It's gotten more divided. Now, whose problem that was, who knows? But if this country is going to succeed, if this country's going to stand and not fall like all the republics before, eventually every republic falls. Right. Rome fell, Right. It's because they were divided. And that's what's happening in this country. And we're offering the opportunity to let another country come in and influence us. This country's going to fall. You've got kids, and I'm not dicking on kids, and I'm not saying they're uneducated as to how government works. They're uneducated how they don't even know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to do their taxes. They're not taught these things. But you know what? They can do the next TikTok dance out there. Right. They can do all these things. Our country is we don't take the things that we need to learn and learn them. We don't teach our kids that. Right. And now it's gotten to the point where if you're a bully, a celebrity, I don't mean to say bully like that, but yeah, if you're brash, and you're out there and like, oh man, he told it, I'm going to vote for him, and it's just like, man, that's not what it goes down real life is.
The common denominator, man. And I tell you this, so I've always been a center right person. As I've gotten older, I've really weighted in the center, and at times even gone to the left a little bit on issues, but I've been center right my whole life. You look at, to me, again, it's just to me as a 50-plus-year-old person who's voted center right his whole life for the most part, I look at the two Republican candidates in these past. I look at Trump as what he is, and I look at Romney for what he is. And if the worst you can say about Mitt Romney as a conservative center-right person is that he appeared a little wishy-washy and I didn't like his delivery, if that's the worst you can say about that man, as opposed to the character issues with Trump, there's a big difference in the quality of human there.
Exactly.
And now some people will say it doesn't matter, Fred. They'll say it's all about policy. Yeah, I like capitalism. I like a roaring economy, but there's got to be more to the equation.
Yes.
When someone has their finger close to the button, and you have to think about the character of the individual. And I'm not talking about getting sucked off, by an intern. And I'm not talking about that kind of indiscretion. I'm talking about like the stability, their ability to hire people around them, staff people, and not fire them once or twice a month.
Yes.
The stability of who's around them. It speaks to your own stability, wouldn't it, to a degree?
Well, here's the thing. And all right, you're getting me down my political rabbit hole that I said I wouldn't do.
That's what I do.
Let's take a look at what we got here. We've got a celebrity who gets voted. You know what? Kim Kardashian could run, and she'd probably get more votes than Kanye because she's a celebrity. Now, here's the thing. You got this cat that comes in. He's a celebrity. He tells people how it is, and he's got the catchphrase, you're fired, you're this, you're that.
Right.
And people go, yeah, he's not going to take it. And that's why I voted for him, because he puts people in their place. He tells people how it is. But no, that's not what we really need. We don't need to be bullies. And if you look, and I don't know if I should let my political views out this, but it's the truth.
Oh, we know you're liberal. It's okay. We know that. It's not a brand. I mean, it's saying you've always been center left.
You've got
your whole life, right?
You've got this guy that comes in, and he thinks it's a great thing to write love letters to a dictator, Kim Jong. You know what I mean? He's like, we're best friends. His best buddy's Putin. Man, I've been to Russia. I love Russia. Blah blah blah, but they're pretty strongly, they do pretty bad things over there to people.
Right.
And that's what he's trying to. He's got the whole the internal of the United States uneasy. He's blaming the media. He's blaming this. He's blaming that. It's everybody's fault but his. It's Obama's fault. It's just they gave him the play. You know what happened? Here I go with my history. 33.
Okay.
Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany. I hope I'm right on that. And he did the same thing. They blamed the fake news on the media and this, and he divided Germany and the Jews. They're dirty Jews and blah, blah, blah. He was going on and on and on. And he rounded up a country so much that they killed millions of people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. You had these people that were so enthralled with this personality, this cult of personality. And Trump even said it. I could walk down Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and nobody would stop me. That's the kind of mentality you don't want from a president. You don't want something like that leading your country because it happened in Germany.
Yeah.
That's how Hitler did it. And he ran by fear. If, Kim Jong runs by fear. Killed his own uncle, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they have proof that he did it.
Right.
Putin, same thing. These people are ruthless bully dictators and they lead by fear instead of by example. And bottom line is this country needs to get back together because we're heading down the path that Germany did.
Well, there's some parallels there. The scariest to talk about. There's some parallels there for sure.
And this is the stuff that I sit around and think by myself while I'm locked up in house arrest.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
I guess there was so much to talk about. I don't want to hit politics the entire time we're together tonight. But the thing is, I think it's going to be fascinating to watch this play out. I do believe that I do put my faith in the American people that we will. Push come to shove, we will do the right thing. We haven't maybe gotten backed in. Some of our population hasn't been backed into the corner all the way. A lot of disappointed people. Like there was a lot of disappointed voters on the other side in 2016.
Absolutely.
I get it. I know. I personally don't get it because I don't root for politicians like a sports team. But so I don't get it like from an experience standpoint. But I conceptually get it why they're disappointed. If you're that, it's so invested in it. But I want to believe that they're going to come around and do the right thing. And history is going to be very interesting. Yes, there are policies that the Trump administration has done that I think will be good for this economy. There are some things that are actually, I think time will prove that legislatively he wasn't too bad. But when it comes to how he handled interpersonal things,
exactly,
how he made light of relationships with dictators, like they were his, buddies in terms like, he loves me. It's just his way of communication is so immature.
Yes.
That we are forced as citizens to either really despise it or if we like some of the policies legislative-wise, we need to somehow wrap our minds around, we'll take that immaturity just because there's policies that we like. It just can't continue that way.
No.
It just can't. And whether the policies are going to flip over, they'll flip back. That's the nature of
that's what happens.
I just want better leadership.
Yeah.
And I want my international friends, which I acquired most of them during our time together, during our friendship in the guitar years. I want those friends not to look at our government and particularly our president as being somebody of bad character.
Yes. It was a reflection on all of us.
It isn't even policy. It's really character.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, the irony of politics is Republicans telling everybody that would listen in 98, that character counts. After Clinton's indiscretion, character counts. Newt Gingrich, Bob Dole, I don't know if Dole was saying it, but Gingrich and John Bonnier, character counts, character counts, character counts. Trent Lott, character counts, right? Against Bill Clinton. There's light years of character between the man Bill Clinton as a policymaker and a diplomat, and Donald Trump as a policymaker and a diplomat. Now, has society fallen so far, Fred, or is it just the men?
You know what? I've turned old, Eric.
You're the only one, buddy.
Literally, I find myself going, I can't believe kids today. When I used to hear that about me.
Right.
You know,
right.
And it's just like, I guess it is. But, you know, I think that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you and I will never know until I become president. And when I
set everything straight,
when I run in 2028, you know, what's funny is watching all this shit.
Right.
You know, again, you're sitting in your COVID daydream because you've eaten all the ice cream in the house, and you're like sitting there going, "Oh man, I'm dozing off. But what if I was president? You know, what would I do? I mean, I would never put up with that." And you're like sitting there going, but you get that like one point, and you're like, you know, I probably could run. You know,
at this point, I think anyone could probably run.
I think I'd probably do a good job.
So going to the conspiracy stuff, or on the alien side, going back to that again, I would have to think that President Trump was told a lot of stuff, especially when he first got in.
We're going to build a space force.
Well, I know we've gone down that road about how that's being, but I would have to believe that one of two scenarios is happening here. One scenario is that the gravity of that information about the things that are being kept from the public is so weighty, and there's consequences to the president of harm if he dares, or she at some point would dare to reveal this stuff. Even to Trump, that he can be threatened and scared. Maybe it's that heavy. Or there really isn't much there, because someone like Trump probably would have just tossed it right out in a news conference, right? I mean, I wonder about
I'm thinking that Trump didn't even listen when they told him. I'm saying that they said he has a bad. And so I started laughing as soon as you started going on, and I started thinking, I could just see him going, okay, next, where's my quarter pounder? Someone give me a quarter pounder, some chicken McNuggets. Where's my spray tan guy?
Didn't he want to know that? Like, wouldn't that be? Again,
that would be the first fucking thing I'd ask.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd walk in there.
Exactly.
If I was the president, I would walk in there and go, "Where's the fucking aliens? I want to see them now. I don't want anything else. Look, put China on hold, put Russia on hold. I don't want to say first day. I'm in there going, all right, give me the lowdown.
Yeah. Are they in Roswell? We're going there right now.
We're going. I can hop on the plane and go anywhere. Pack the shit. Let's go. Get a couple beers for the ride.
Well, he knows. I mean, think about, he's got to get all these briefings, right? And there's a part of me that looks at this past 4 years, and I can't say that I was the kind of person that would watch news every day, so I knew like the ins and outs of meetings and trips and all. I didn't. But I have to
golf more than any president ever.
I just think it's amazing to me that we have gone like 4 years with Donald Trump as the president. I mean, the president.
Is that longer than his show lasted? I'm serious. How long?
It almost is like a big. Wouldn't it be funny if you woke up, man, and we are in a parallel universe, and it was all just a reality show?
It was a reality show. The Trump show. He's come to the wall, and he's trying to get out. What the fuck's going on here?
Oh man,
he like runs into it. There's like a big orange splat mark on the spray tan going
What's
on.
really crazy too is now to watch all these career Republican politicians, these senators, and these long-term congressmen, to hear them making excuses for the guy. Like,
well,
that kind of stuff just
it's
drives
their asses
me.
on the line.
I know, but
it's amazing the groveling.
at what point do you have to just realize, like, the emperor has no clothes kind of thing going on?
I actually saw that as a reference.
But something, I mean, it really, and I don't think that there's just less character on the Republican side. I mean, if it was a Democrat, you'd have Democratic politicians doing the same thing, afraid to confront the beast. But
again, he rules by fear instead of respect.
Right.
And people are afraid of their job, afraid of losing their jobs.
But if you're a senator, really, what would you really have to fear from him?
Well, that if he, of getting voted out, you know what I mean? And he's
They run every 6 years, though. I mean, I don't know.
It's silly. I mean, you look at Lindsey Graham crying he doesn't have any money. They're winning over him. They're this and that. The guy finally wins. He goes, "I'm going to give Trump $500,000."
I thought that was interesting.
It's like really, you're an idiot. They rush a Supreme Court nominee through, but they don't help the American people who are struggling because guess what? It's been a couple months. It's been 6 months. And everybody's unemployment's running out. But what would really help? A stimulus package. But because you guys don't want to run that Supreme Court justice through, we're going to go home and we're going to leave you guys high and dry with nothing.
That's both parties did that.
And it's just it's amazing to see our country, the people that we elected, lead like this. And again, if they walked into a bar down here in Coriopolis, they don't give two fucks about you. You're not like he said, like Trump said in Erie, I shouldn't have to be here. I don't want, this is the last place I would come. And you see what happened? It turned Democrat. This is the home of Tom Ridge. He's actually a Republican that I voted for because I really that cat should have went to politics. But I think Ridge was smart. He's like, look, I'm better off in the private sector, and
all the truly great ones are.
Well, the thing is that guy, man. Literally, I was working for John McCain. I did John McCain.
I remember.
And Tom Ridge, the governor, he was the governor of Pennsylvania. He served as Homeland Security
under Bush after 9/11.
After 9/11, and he quit. But here's a guy who's very influential, and he came down, and it was me and a buddy. And he sat down and he talked to us. And I'm not talking about, hey guys, I'm talking like 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And he's, I got pictures with him. And he's in his shirt. It was hot outside. And we were on a coffee break. And here's this guy who, and he was a very good man. And I told him, I said, look, I'm Democrat. I voted for you because I really, a cat like that would have been a great leader.
Well, I think they're out there. Those people are out there. We just, and this might be Trump might be a blip in history. Like in terms of just, here's an anomaly where you had a very famous career politician in Hillary Clinton, who you can argue whether you like her or you don't like her, but she kind of took for granted her popularity.
Yeah.
And
she did win the popular vote, though.
No, but they know what they have to do to win.
Exactly.
And it didn't line up for her, and they didn't take it seriously. And she was surprised by a television reality star.
The thing is,
right?
is the country's gone to the point where they're wary of career politicians.
With good reason.
Absolutely with good reason, and I think that, there should be a limit on how long these guys run.
Term limits are so desperately needed.
You can't, I'm sorry, you can't have a Mitch McConnell in there forever.
You really shouldn't have Biden in there forever.
That was going to come out of my mouth too.
40, 50 years now?
Yeah, exactly. But here's, unless you should have like a term limit as to how long you can serve maybe as a senator, but then
they can roll in a different position.
Roll in a different position.
If the people want you.
Exactly. And that should be it. You should have a term limit, and that's exactly, you know, and then work your way up to president, you know. But the thing is, you know, something like that, if you want to be a career politician, go to the Senate for X amount of years. Go to the House for X amount of years. Run for the president. Be a governor. Blah, blah, but but 40 years as someone sitting there, you know. And this year I'm never in the politics again, and I started looking into the backgrounds of some of these cats that came in broke. But
isn't that amazing?
Now they're worth X amount of millions, and they've got this kind of
all of them, both parties,
and it's like, you've got to be kidding me, you know. And how did you get that way, you know? And
Bill Clinton never had a private sector job till he left the presidency.
Exactly,
his entire life never had a private sector job, man. I mean, I don't know. They sure retire healthy.
You know, and I understand the speaking engagements for somebody like that, and books. You know, they're getting a lot of money for books, and they're getting a lot of money for speaking engagements. And yes, you don't have to be a president to make a lot of money being a motivational speaker or something like that, or just a celebrity, you know, making money. But, you know, because the job don't pay that well. What's it pay? Under $300,000 or something like that.
Right.
You know what? And well, the good thing that'll help Trump is he can probably apply for unemployment in Florida when he moves down there.
You can give him some.
I give him some
advice.
I give him some advice when he has to call Florida. And
what the hell? So what have you been doing?
I've been doing nothing. My God, I play my bass every day. I learned how to play. Now the thing is back in the day I used to like work out.
Right.
But I've gone away from working out because at the beginning of this thing, I was all gung ho about doing an album, you know, making music with my friends, and you know, and actually sitting around. And then I was like, you know what, I've been, you know, but I would go and work out, you know, and be in some kind of shape, you know, and recently, I've fallen in love with playing my bass again, and it comes from, you know, like I was dabbling in it, you know, and then, you know, showing people how to play things at like certain points over the past couple of years, and you know, and I'm like, man, I should really start playing again. And it's like, no, the song goes like this, blah blah blah, and you start playing again, and it's just like, it feels so good in my hands. I forgot what this bass felt like, and you know what? I need a challenge. Oh, I forgot I had a fretless, and wow, I love the way that plays. Here, let me play it a different position, and so I started playing again, and I've gotten hooked on playing my bass.
Okay,
and it's not like, you know, I mean, come on, I have 4 jobs in the entertainment business, and they're all gone, and so I started playing, and it was just like, you know, you call your friends like, hey, you want to learn a couple songs and jam?
Right.
You mean like those video things? No, like those video things. Let's actually go out and play somewhere. And there's a bar by my house that I love, the Mousetrap.
Oh, yeah.
And we go out and we do jam nights on Thursdays. And everybody's like walking around with their mask. And you get on stage, you take your mask down so you don't look like a dork up there. And you sit around and play. And then you put it back on. And but we're like, they follow the COVID rules, and you know, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So we started going out there, and I've got, you know, more friends, and we started playing more and more and more, and I've learned all kinds of stuff that I never would have learned.
Right.
And you know, I'll get a call for here and there for like a job. Like I went to work for I worked a gig for Pence. And I did a Trump rally out at the airport, you know, and I worked for like the ballet but it's like a day or two every, you know, couple weeks.
Right.
And it really doesn't pay the bills.
You
know?
So speaking of getting paid, Fred.
Yes. Let me get my head.
All right. So speaking of getting paid, Frederico, you can keep the sandwich out, Fred.
No, because I'll end up chewing it.
You can
I'm gonna
eat
put onions everywhere. I know.
cheeseburger on the show.
I'm gonna follow the rules. I'm not gonna be a bad guy. I'm gonna follow the rules of the studio.
Some folks have been disappointed there hasn't been a popcorn.
You know what? I've heard that.
We have to bring that back for the UFO show, man.
Hey, man, you guys aren't getting drunk on there anymore. And I'm like, well,
yeah, we have sobered up quite a bit.
No popcorn, no booze, no drinking.
But better content. So, did you ever get any money? I mean,
All right, so check it out. And as we were talking, one of my favorite things about this is the whole unemployment process. You lose 4 jobs, and there's none to be had out there. It's kind of frustrating, and everything's great, and it afforded me time to play my bass and work on my photography.
Right.
And which is really great, is I finally get a paying gig as a photographer. Somebody calls me up and goes, "Hey, look, I need some headshots for, but I don't have a lot of money." I'm like, "Hey, look, all right, hey, look, how old are you?" And she's like, "It's for my school, and I'm 18, and I can afford like $100, $150." I said, "All right." I said, "Look, I work with anybody. I can help you out, kid. No problem." She says, "Okay." I said, where do you live?" "Columbus." I'm like,
"Are you serious?"
"Dead serious, man."
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Man." And I'm like, "All right, kid, you know what? I'm not going to make any money doing this kid's pictures.
Right.
But you know what? It's
something to do.
It's something to do. And it's for my resume, and you know what? All right, kid, I can do it." So one of my other favorite things is...
Sucker.
One of my other favorite things is just the way everybody else started with COVID. You don't know when it's morning or night. I'm not drinking anymore, but... when you start out with COVID
Today.
drinking a couple bottles of booze a day, and then you run out of money and you're like, you know what? I guess it's probably good that I'm not drinking anymore. But I still sleep to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock because there's no time. I got a big blackout curtain in my room. I was like, you don't even know what time it is. This is the greatest thing ever. It's just like, is it 4 a.m? Is it 4 p.m? Who knows?
You're living like you're 17 years old again.
Exactly, man. So that's like and then I just roll over and play. I don't even sit up and play my bass anymore. I just lay there, just play it, And then I get up on stage like an idiot, and I'm like, it's the wrong position. I'm because I don't look at my bass when I play. I close my eyes and I play, right. And or I'm watching the football game when I'm trying to play, and so everything. But when you lay down and play, it's all off. Anyway, I digress. Going back to the point, this kid calls me up and says, "Hey, I said, look, okay, so here's the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to go. And I'll meet you there at the location at noon."
In Columbus.
I'm a man of my word.
5 hours away.
I'm a man of my word. It's like 3 because I drive fast. And
okay.
And I'm a man of my word. And I said, "Look, kid, I'll hook you up for $150.
Okay.
We'll bang these out and we'll have some fun. No problem." So I get up extra early in the morning, take my shower, and I was up all night. I had my gear, and it's like shit that I don't even need to take on this shoot. It's like I'm like sitting there, and I get my gear all out, and I'm like polishing my lenses, like
you felt like you really were gainfully employed.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I'm like, I got a job. There, this is gonna be great. And so I got everything all cleaned up. I got all these batteries out. I'm like, oh man, I gotta find my I put the batteries in. I got the batteries for like lights I got. I'm like, oh, this is so great. This is gonna be so fun. This is gonna be great. And I get up in the morning and I get out of the shower. And it's like, I got COVID. And I don't mean to laugh.
Wait, time out.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's like
the kid got COVID.
Well, she had to quarantine, and I'm like, wait, what? Because I wasn't making very much here, but I'm not mad, but I'm up pretty early for this drive, And I'm sorry about that, but I got to quarantine because somebody I knew somebody I was around had COVID, so now I got to quarantine. I'm like, don't worry.
Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Of course it happened that way.
So what was good about that day is it gave me a free day to call unemployment nonstop to continue fighting my battle.
So unemployment so are you getting unemployment on your time on Trans-Siberian Orchestra, or your time as a local stagehand, or time on a movie? What are you getting?
Yeah, so I
how's that work?
I work year round,
right?
Except for this year. And So I'm always busy.
Okay.
And, I mean, I do a variety of different jobs. I went on tour, with 3 different bands last year. Yeah, I went on tour with 3 different bands,
Okay.
4 major tours, which, it's pretty. And I did a couple TV shows. And so, I'm busy. And I really don't collect unemployment.
Okay.
Maybe I'll collect it. I'm still a stagehand too.
Okay.
So, so I collect here and there, but I haven't had to do it for a long time.
All right.
So COVID comes along, and
Don't touch COVID.
got some COVID here, and COVID comes along, and it shuts down all 4 or more of my jobs if you want to, and I've got nothing, and nobody's hiring, and you're sitting around going, hey, you know what? This is great. I'm getting money. I got some booze, and I'm going to learn to play my bass, and everything's going to be fine. And there you are, 13 weeks later or whatever, it comes out, and you're going, I'm broke. I've got nothing. I got to call unemployment again. I've run out of unemployment. And so I call unemployment, and I got to re-up. And they say, we'd like to give you some money, but those jobs you did in Florida, they got money down there. You should get some money out of Florida. I'm like, I've never worked in Florida in my life. I've never worked a day there. I'm like, really? We tend to disagree with you, and you should probably look into Florida. Give Florida a call and collect down there. I'm like, wait, what? They're like, we can't give you money because you have money in Florida. I'm like, I have money in the state of Florida? This is great. This is like one of those, a relative must have died.
That's your money.
Oh, I've got money down in the state of Florida. So I call state of Florida down there, and they're like, yeah, you got money down here. I'm like, oh, I do. I have money. This is great. And they're like, yeah, it's all in 1 quarter. You don't qualify. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't qualify? And it's because one of the tours that I was on is incorporated in the state of Florida. Okay. And instead of putting money into the state of Pennsylvania for me, they put it all in the state of Florida. Easy fix. Not a problem. We can just, all right, just write, Pennsylvania says, write them a letter that says I'm ineligible for money in Florida. Do what? Just write them a letter. Somebody in Florida say, hey, look,
Florida, right? Pennsylvania, left. So the 2 states will communicate.
Yeah, just let them know that I don't qualify. Well, you don't qualify. Yeah, I know. Because no, we told them in April that you didn't qualify when you first applied. You applied in March. We verified it in April that you don't qualify. So we've told them. Okay. Well, what do I got to do? I don't know. So I call Pennsylvania. Now, mind you, calling these unemployment places, it's a day-long thing. You're on the phone. Literally, the first time I applied for Pennsylvania, I called and got through on my 460 ninth dead serious try, and it was like, wow. And that was, I take that back. I forgot to tell you about the 5 weeks I tried beforehand. And after 5 weeks, I got through on my 400. That's how many people are calling up.
Wow, constantly.
Yeah, trying to get money. And you're sitting there, you lazy son of a bitch, why don't you get up and do something? I am doing something. I'm on the phone for 8 hours a day trying to call up.
That's a full-time job.
You son of a bitch, get up and do something.
And it's just like... Why don't you have a job? Well, really? Why don't I have a job? Because the world's falling apart. Anyway, so now I'm a veteran of the calling unemployment. So I finally get through it, and I'm calling back and forth, and it takes you get through after calling 469 times, and then you still have to wait for an hour and a half for them to call you. Or for them to pick up the phone. And, and I have to explain my situation. Well, Florida said, it's like, do you like me? Ask Eric, go ask, blah, blah, if they like me, you're going back and forth. I'm the guy in between the 2 states talking, and they're fighting, they're fighting. Pennsylvania and Florida are fighting. We don't talk to Pennsylvania. Well, I am. I need to talk to you for Pennsylvania. All right. Well, you tell Pennsylvania. Okay. Now you got to tell Florida. And so that's what's been going on for me for the past 5 weeks. So check this out. So I say, all right, can you tell Pennsylvania Well, we told them already. All right, so I tell Pennsylvania. They said they told you. Yeah, we want to hear it again. They told us in April, but it's October now, and guess what? We want to hear it again. All right. So I get on the phone again, and I call them up, and I wait, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there talking, and I'm sitting there wait.
Are you going to do something?
I'm on the fucking phone. I'm on the fucking phone right now.
Yeah, it's all you ever are, is on the phone.
I'm trying to get some money here. So it goes back and forth. And, I'm sitting there, and they finally pick up, and I say, hey, look, I talked to somebody yesterday, and, they said that, Pennsylvania would like, Florida to tell them that, I don't qualify.
Okay.
And they want, we don't write letters. I want a letter. We don't write letters. How did you tell them in April? Well, we told them. Well, how'd you tell them? We did. They looked at we have to notify them. Can you notify them again? No, we notified them. This is a true story. No, we notified them in April, sir. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not going to give me unemployment until you notify them again. We've done it once. We're not doing it again. This is true. And I'm like, please, just do this. You tell whoever you got to tell in Pennsylvania, we've already given our determination and we don't need to do it again. I'm on the phone for a couple hours waiting. Pennsylvania. Look, Florida says that they've already told you. Yeah, we know they told us, but we want it written. We want notification
in writing.
Through this computer program. And they gave me the name of the computer program. So I have to call Florida back again. Eric, listen, there were days that I was on the phone for 8.5 hours a day because some of these places are open late. And I'm like sitting there nonstop. Right? There was a period.
That's a full-time job.
There was a period of 2 days I was on the phone for 17.5 hours, going back, talking between two states that won't talk to each other.
Wow.
And then, but they're like, we want it in this format on this program. We don't know what program that is. You have to call back. And this is true. It was going back and forth. Well, maybe they call it an HUB instead of a WIC. Do you guys have HUB? Nope. Do you have WIC? Nope. We don't know what they're talking about. You tell them. And I'm like, look, why don't you tell them, sir, we don't do that. Eric,
they wouldn't get on the phone with that.
They wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They had me going back and forth for literally 5 weeks.
That's a comedy show.
It was like, it's like on who's on first, what's on second, and it was going on and on and on. And they don't want to talk to each other. And so literally, I finally get through, and they say, well, if you apply for benefits in Florida, it's like a week and a half into it. If you would apply for benefits in Florida, then we would probably, they would probably deny you. And then I'm like, wait, you're telling me to apply? Pennsylvania's telling me to apply? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I apply for benefits in Florida.
Okay. Now, how long ago, how long in the process was this?
This was, 6 weeks, about 5 weeks ago.
Okay. So
I apply. And I'm sitting there, and they're like, well, it'd be probably about a 5-week wait. And I'm like, wait, I don't have 5 weeks wait for notification. How am I going to know? Well, you got to get on the website. All right, get on the website. All right, cool. All right, so there's a website. All right, blah, blah, blah. So when Pennsylvania says, so when they send you the letter and determine you ineligible, you take that letter and you send it to us, and we'll give you your money. As soon as we get that letter, we'll give you that money. I'm like, all right. So I'm waiting, and a week goes by, and I check, and there's no status change. So I call up. I say, hey, look, anybody down there? What's your name? What's your date of birth, or what's your address, your social security number, phone number? What's your date of birth? And I tell them my birthday. They go, that's wrong. And I say, wait, what? I'm like, they're like, your birthday. It's wrong. I'm like, it's my birthday. They're like, not on, according to here, it's not. And I'm like, what do you mean it's wrong? Well, your birthday's wrong on our records. It was right last week. Well, it's wrong today. I said, you guys have given me a claim number. I have all this stuff, and I've given you all the information, And you're telling me that you can't help me? No, because your birthday's wrong. And I said, my birthday's wrong? I said, look, I've given you all this information. How do I know it's you? What do you mean, how do you know it's me? It's me. And this is a true story. This actually has happened over the period of the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I said, what do you mean, how do you know it's me? I'm on the phone with you. I don't know that you're Fred Kowalo. I'm like, I've given you all my information. Yeah, but it's wrong. I'm like, listen.
So is that operator just fucking with you?
No, it was more than one operator. I got this one lady going, could you please tell me your full name? Okay. Could you tell me your address? Oh, you're from Pennsylvania. Okay. Could you please give me your social security number and your date of birth? All right. Here's my date of birth. Oh, no, sir, that's wrong. Please, for the love of God, where the hell did I even call? And she's like, you called Florida job careers? I mean, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It sounds like I'm fucking talking to fucking Raj over there. I'm like, look, and I'm not, and you know what's great? It's like, they're like CB truckers on the highway. It's like their headsets are too loud and it's echoing back through, and it's just like, and me, I'm deaf. I can't hear. I've got everything off in the house, and it's sitting there, and so I'm sitting there trying to hear, and it's echoing back. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. It's just
Do you think you might have been in India? Maybe was the call center over there?
It could have been. Who knows? With my luck, it probably was. But all I know is, nope, your date of birth is not correct, and we cannot help you. I'm like, please, just somebody help. Click. I'm like, if you have any more questions for me pertaining to this, please feel free to check out our website at. I'm like, FloridaJobs.com. I'm like, wait a sec, click, gone. So now I'm mad. And
it's wrong.
It takes very, very little, or it takes a lot of things to get me mad, And so now I'm mad. And literally, I call Pennsylvania. I said, there's nobody helping. We can't help you. I called my state senator or state representative, and I explained my problem. I'm like, that's what they're there for. They're there to help you.
Well, sure.
And I call him up, and in my mind's eye, I see the guy going, Fred Kowalo, registered Democrat. Yes, hi, this is the Republican office of blah, blah, blah. And so I explained my thing, and they're like, yeah, he's a Democrat. Yeah, we can't help you. And I shit you not, this is what she said. I said, why not? She goes, we need a letter from Florida, and that is not a lie. We need a letter from Florida that it says and explain. I'm like, they're not going to give me a letter, and I'm like, all right, I'll call up. My state representative said, blah blah blah. Sir, we're not in the business of writing letters to other states. If you want information, go to our website. But I can't get into the website because somebody has my birthday wrong on it. And it wasn't me. And I'm going, why? Everything was going great. Why is this happening? Right. So I finally called back down to Florida, and I get this guy, and he's really sympathetic. I'm like, please, my bills are piling up. People hate me. I owe people money. I haven't eaten in days. Thanks for the Big Mac.
True. That is true.
Thanks for the cheeseburger. And but I play a mean bass. And so I'm sitting there, and I tell this guy the story. He goes, all right, let's go down through this. He goes, give me your name. All right, here's my name. Give me your address. Here's my address. Social Security. Here you go. Phone number. Yeah. Date of birth. I said, I told him my birthday. He goes, okay. I'm like, wait a second. I said, he goes, what's the problem? What's my birthday on there? He goes, what did you say? And I said, I told him my birthday, and he goes, yeah, that's your birthday. I'm like, the last three ladies I had on there said that wasn't my birthday. He goes, well, I don't understand why. And I said, I've been trying to get on this website and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, let's take a look. Ooh. What?
That's never good.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I actually think I said that. That doesn't sound good. And he's going on and on. And I'm like, he's like, he's not saying anything, but you just hear, ooh. What? Click. Ooh, wait. All right, so I think I found a problem. I'm like, what's that? He goes, your application for unemployment is incomplete. I'm like, what do you mean it's incomplete? I filled the damn thing out myself. And, he goes, yeah, you got 3 pages here that are incomplete. He goes, there's nothing on them. I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing on them? I said, how the hell does that happen? He goes, well, he goes, let's just go down the line. So we start filling this. This guy's really kind, and he's helping me out. He's going down the line. He goes, all right. He goes, wow, man, 18 jobs, 17 jobs you have on here. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, you have 17 jobs listed in the state of Florida. I'm like, I have 0 jobs in the state of Florida. I've never worked a day in Florida in my life. And he goes, it says here that you have. I'm like, what kind of jobs are they? He goes, you've never worked at a TGI Fridays? And I'm like, no, wait, what? He goes, I got you down for Ruby Tuesdays, TGI Fridays. I'm like, no, that's not what I work. And I said, here's what I worked, and this is
Tuesdays. And
here's what happened. And Chili's, and somebody just went down the line. Hey, you want to go to Chili's? And so he goes, kind of looks like somebody started working on your application and filling in the stuff, and they must have went to lunch. And I'm like, wait,
Chili's.
I'm like, oh yeah, they went to lunch. You want to go to Chili's? And I'm like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, they never finished processing it.
Wow.
And
They had someone else's information.
Well, he said, he goes, you've never worked? I'm like, no, I have never fucking worked at a fucking Chili's. Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. No, I don't work at, and I told him the one job I had. He goes, well, that's on there. And I'm like, all right, so okay, so this company's on there. He goes, yeah, oh, wow, you made a lot of money. I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, that's the problem. You made all your money in 1 quarter. I'm like, no shit. I said, now what I need you to do is write me a letter to tell Pennsylvania that I'm ineligible. He goes, oh, we don't write letters. And I'm like, please. I said, I don't want money from you, Florida. I don't have any money in there. He goes, I know. So I'm looking right at it. It says a big 0 on there. I said, okay. So I'm ineligible. He goes, yes, you are ineligible. I said, please just send something to Pennsylvania that says that. Sir, we don't do that. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. He goes, look, call back in 72 hours, and this will all be cleared up.
Okay.
And this is like a Thursday, so I have to wait till like a Tuesday to call back. So I call back, and it's not cleared up. So I call back. This is the other day. I call back like 4 times. First 2 times, they put me on hold. Oh, sir, yes, let me help you here. Oh, I see. I see everything's pending. You need a what? A letter? Oh, we don't write letters. I want to talk to your supervisor. Oh, we don't talk to supervisors. We chat with our supervisors online. If I put you on hold, I'll get a supervisor. Okay, great. It's going to take a while. I'm like, I've got all day. I'm doing nothing but playing a bass and watching Bar Rescue. So I've actually got dreadlocks from me just like laying there, just playing. It's like sitting there playing, and so. And I've seen every Bar Rescue there is, It's like, oh my God, he touched it with his hands. This bar's the shittiest bar ever. So,
Tapper.
So I've gotten all, I've seen it all, and so I'm sitting there waiting, and they play this like little, classical-y kind of music, and you're sitting there playing your bass, you're playing along to it. Like I can like tap it, I'm like sitting there playing. I'm like, oh wow, I am getting pretty good at this. I know all this shit, and then it just stops, and you hear beep beep beep. And I'm like, up on you. I'm like, I've been waiting here for 80 minutes, and they hung up on me. Son of a bitch! And I'm mad. And I call up. Then I have to explain again to the new person. Hello, sir. What do you like? And, I don't think it's so much.
That's a clown show.
Yeah, but so I call up and I get somebody new and I explain. Oh, sir, I just need a letter. We don't write letters. And I'm dead serious. Because one of these days I'm going to get that magic one that says, "Let me put you on hold and I'm going to talk to my supervisor." Hang on 1 second. 80 minutes later. They hang up on me. So I got mad.
Do you think that's intentional?
Yes.
Or do you think the system is screwed up?
So I get this next lady, and I talk to her.
Always wonder, man.
She's a sweetheart. She's sitting there talking to me, and she goes, "Look, let me get a hold of my supervisor." I said, "Look, they hung up on me." She's like, "Well, wait, let me look at this." Oh, well, here, okay, look. and you hear crash and smash and all this shit going on in the background. She's working from home, and she tells me she's got like an 18-month-old, and you just hear you can just hear like shit flying everywhere, like she's trying, and I'm like, no, it's okay, because she's helping me,
Right.
and she's like, I am so sorry. I'm like, it's fine, man. I totally dig. I had kids. I dig it. I know. Okay, so what I need is a letter. Okay, no. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. What is that you need? Don't leave the cat alone. It's like, don't pull his tail. Don't. Hang on 1 second, sir, please. And this is true. And I'm going. She's helping me. Okay. And I'm trying to like sneak it in. I need a letter. Hoping she'll go, okay, I'll give you a letter. And so I'm like, yeah, I just need a letter that says, oh, sorry, we don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. And she's like yelling at the guy. I'm like, ah. So she goes, I'm going to talk to my manager. I said, okay. So she talks to her manager. She goes, all right, it's going to be like a 90-minute wait.
For her to talk to her manager.
Yeah, because she's like, I got wait times listed. And I'm like, you know what? I'll wait. And she's like, okay. So I'm sitting there, and she goes, all right, sir. This is no joke. My manager got to me back a lot sooner than I thought and said, call back later. And we'll call you back, later, or, we'll call back tomorrow, and it should all be cleared up. It should all be cleared up. As soon as you hang up the phone, check into the website, and it'll magically say you're ineligible. And she said, and what you do on that is you take a picture of your and then you mail that to Pennsylvania, because we don't write letters. And she goes, but if you withdraw your claim, this is no joke, if you withdraw your claim from Florida, it'll say ineligible. And I'm like, if I withdraw my claim from Florida, Pennsylvania's going to say that I withdraw my claim from Florida, and I'm going to have to start the process again. No, sir, I promise you. If you do it like
promise you,
if you do it the way we said it, you'll be eligible. But you have to like hang up. I shit you not, this happened. You have to hang up and then log off and log back on, and it'll say ineligible. And I'm like, all right. She goes, yeah. My manager's taking, my supervisor's taking care of it right now, but it's not going to show as long as you're on the phone. I shit you not, man. As long as you're on the phone, and as long as your website's up on your home computer, it's not going to show. But you have to turn off and log off.
What a shit show.
So I hung up. I logged off. I logged back on and said, pending. I'm like, bitch. Of course. I'm like, you bitch. And so I gave it 10 minutes. I'm like, oh. So I called back and I hung up. All right, I called him back and I got a hold of him. And I waited for another hour, and I talked to this girl, and she's like, what happened? What? Really? She's like, here, let me talk to my supervisor. I'm going to put you on hold. And I shit you not, they put me on hold. 80 minutes. I'm on hold, and he goes, boop, boop, boop. And like the music stops, and he goes, boop, boop, and they hung up on me. And so I was done. They were closed for the day. So I went in today, and I took pictures of it, and it actually says on there, 000 does not qualify. I have no money in there. I can't get anything from. It shows me. They can see my Pennsylvania money,
right?
And Pennsylvania can see my Florida money.
All right,
but they want a letter, and nobody's
they want a letter.
So I finally blew a gasket, and I called Pennsylvania today because Pennsylvania was closed yesterday. So I called them today, and
are they celebrating the presidential victory?
Was
that a state holiday?
They were counting votes in Philly, and so this is no joke. So I get on there, and I get this guy on the phone, and we're sitting there talking to him. I was talking to him in Florida, and I'm like, look, this is what happened yesterday. They hung up on me 3 out of 4 times. I said, I need some help, and the guy goes, yeah, man, I'll help you. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm sorry. This was Wednesday. I called. This was Veterans Day, and all that other stuff happened Tuesday. So Pennsylvania was closed Wednesday. So I call Florida back on Wednesday, and the guy goes, yeah, it's a volunteer day. He goes, I've got nothing to do, and so I figured I'd make some money and work. And I'm like, cool, man. So here's my situation. He's like, oh yeah, man. I need a letter. He goes, we don't write letters. Oh. He goes, look on your website. I'm like, it still says, that it doesn't say ineligible. They want it to say ineligible. So the guy goes, all right, cool. So we sit there talking, and we're talking for a while. And the guy goes, oh, yeah. He goes, yeah, it's going to be a long wait. I'm like, look, man, I don't care. He goes, I'm going to have to put you on. I'm like, no, you're not going to put me on hold. I told him, I said, look, hung up on me 3 out of 4 times yesterday. He goes, ooh, that's rough. He goes, I don't understand why that happened. He goes, all right. I shit you not.
You told him you're not going to let him put you on hold.
I said, don't put me on hold. I said, this is what happened. He goes, all right. He goes, fair enough. He goes, I got nothing to do. So
you love hearing that from a state employee, right?
So I'm talking to this guy, and he doesn't put me on hold, and I can hear him work, and he's writing, back and forth because they have to Skype, their manager or whatever, or text message their manager. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm talking to my supervisor now, and yeah, he said that they do not write letters to Pennsylvania. And I'm like, look, man, come on. So he goes, I have to put you on hold. I'm like, don't put me on hold. And so we're sitting there talking, and he goes, manager said it's going to be like a 90-minute wait again. And I'm like, you know what? I'll hold. And he goes, all right, cool. And every couple minutes, we're sitting there. I'm on the computer doing what I'm playing, sitting there doing. And
what's he doing?
He's eating lunch. We had lunch together, man. Me and his dude, I never even saw him. He's sitting. I hear the microwave go off. He's, hey, I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. He's sitting there and he's beep beep beep.
It's hysterical, man.
Yeah. So we're sitting there.
90 minutes.
Oh yeah. It was yeah. He goes, so you still there? Oh, dude, I was on with him from 10 o'clock in the morning till about 4:45 in the afternoon.
Oh my God Almighty, dude.
The guy said he went to his manager, his supervisor, and his supervisor, who said, we don't write letters, but if you cancel your Florida job application or your unemployment application, we'll make sure that it processes. So what you got to do is you got to log out. And I'm like, that's what they did to me yesterday. I said, you're not going to get me again today. And he goes, they did that to you yesterday? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, tell them that that we promise. If you cancel your Florida application, we promise that it'll be ineligible. And I'm like, yeah, all right. It was 4:45. They had to get off anyway. I'm like, all right, I've had enough. I called Pennsylvania first thing in the morning today. And I shit you not, I'm mad. I get through on my 83rd try of calling or something like that, 86th try. And in my force of habit and excitement, as I got through, it says, welcome to the Pennsylvania. I hung up the phone. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding.
Of course you did.
So it was another 436, because my phone shows how many times you call.
It's insane.
So when I hit 200, I start again with another. So on my 436th time today, I got through. And I talked to this woman and I explained to her. She goes, well, sir, we need a letter from Florida. I'm like, look, they told me they're not in the thing. They don't want to do it. You call, you try to explain to the people why they haven't gotten their rent, why they haven't got their car payment. Hey, why haven't my the child support lady? She's like the fucking Tommy Lee Jones on The Fugitive. You're like, I can't pay. She's like, you better pay. I'm like, I can't pay. She's like, I'll put you in jail. I'm like, I don't have any money. She's like, I don't care. It's my job. It's my job to make. I'm like, look, I don't have anything. You can't take anything from anything. We'll put you in jail. I'm like, well, then what are you going to get? Right. So I'm sitting there sweating, it's my job. I don't care. That's what she said. I don't care. It's my job. And so I'm like, all right, cool, man, blah, blah, blah. So I tell this lady that, and she's very sympathetic. And she goes, look, I'll call my supervisor. This is Pennsylvania now, but it's going to take some time. It's backed up. I'm like, no problem. And so she's sitting there and it's it's all quiet, and you hear, do you work in the music industry? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she goes, do you know Joe Bonamassa? And I'm like, the guitar player? Yeah, so I've been around him. I said, it's not like we chat. I said, but he's a friend of mine, real close. He's been over his house. And we start having this conversation about Joe Bonamassa. So when I see Joe Bonamassa, I have to thank this guy. And And we have this great conversation, and she's talking about like, oh, I went to Red Rocks and so I'm like, I love playing Red Rocks. I love playing Red Rocks. So, and it's like you really can't describe Red Rocks to anybody else unless they've already been there,
right?
And so we're having like this conversation, and it's going great. And you hear her go, oh, she's sitting there trotting away, and she gets through to her supervisor, and she goes, "I'm gonna put you on hold." I'm like, and she comes back. She goes, "Okay, look, I was talking to my supervisor, and my supervisor said, send him an email." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And she goes, "Send him an email. He wants to look at something." So I sent him an email, and we start talking about Joe Bonamassa and rock and roll and Zakk Wylde, and all this stuff about all these great guitar players. And the irony is 2 days ago, I was just watching a Joe Bonamassa video because I practiced to YouTube the songs that we're going to play. And one of the songs that came up randomly was a Joe Bonamassa, Warren Haynes playing together.
Right.
And so I'm just like, and I said, I was just playing that song the other day. And she's like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm sitting there plunking away on my bass, And she's sitting there, so we're having this great conversation. And she goes, my boss wants you to write him right now and send you all the stuff. And so I sent it off. I shit you not. I heard on her other end, ding. And it was her boss writing. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's all we needed. No problem.
Are you fucking kidding me?
He said that it was some stupid glitch in Florida that I would have had to make, like 1.5 times of what they were.
Right.
And it was like some stupid number, like, oh yeah, it's right there in the handbook. and and he goes, oh yeah. So they I can finally go to McDonald's on my own, but I have to wait till Monday. It's Thursday now. I have to wait till Monday.
My God.
But finally, after all, it was just like, oh yeah, they're just a glitch. And it's just like a glitch. I've been 5 weeks. I couldn't find a glitch, in Pennsylvania. But yeah, nobody's in the. I want to write them a thank you letter. I'm going to write Joe Bonamassa a thank you letter. He saved my ass. But it was just like, it's been terrible, and that's the whole thing. I sat around and I played. I did all this shit. I'm getting out of shape. I'm getting all fat. Sitting around.
You're not alone. I think a lot of people are, man. I mean, I think it's just. Everybody's out of whack. I think things were starting to get like somewhat. People were out. They were trying to establish some normalcy or some kind of, I don't know. And now it looks like they're going to get locked down again. But this was all predicted because. Well,
they knew there was going to be a second wave and a third wave. Again,
it's a pandemic.
This is nothing new. It's happened for the last 400 years at the same time. 1618 to 1620, 1718, 1720, 1818, 1918, 1920.
Right.
It happens every 400 years, 500 years.
Well, the one that in the early 1900s, though, correct me if I'm wrong, what flu was that?
Spanish flu.
Okay, now, but 18, 19 months and it worked its way through, right?
You know why?
2 waves, 2.5 waves,
well,
right?
Here's the thing with that. They didn't have those much access to travels. They didn't have a Sturgis then. They didn't have spring breakers going to a beach and coming back to their houses, Right. So it wasn't as, but you know what they also did? They wore masks. There's pictures in history of people wearing masks because they believed
in the science.
They believed in the science.
Primitive science compared to
exactly. And they listened. You know what I mean? Right. So, but it's like we're all, you get all cooped up in these things. Like we missed everything this year. We missed, if you do it for 6 more weeks and you wear your mask and you stay in your house and don't, guess what? It'll be over that much faster.
Yeah. It's and I personally don't know how to feel about it. Like I hate the masks. I hate them. But I absolutely am for wearing them 100% where they're required and wearing it for the benefit of others.
My thing is...
That's not a big ask.
I don't want somebody spitting on me to begin with. I don't dig talking to somebody. They're sitting there talking. It's like, you go to a bar, and they're right on top of you. It's just like, dude.
Let me ask you some broad questions. Like, do you think that the bar business... Just the bar business. Are we going to ever really, really get back to the way it was prior COVID?
Yeah, eventually we will. I mean, look what happened. I mean, well, then they had prohibition in 1922, and then they had a depression, and then, but yeah, everything goes back to what it was. But it's you got to listen. You know what I mean? You got to follow the rules to get us. If you follow the rules, we get there that much closer to prohibition again.
Right. Why are we so?
Because we're spoiled.
Okay, because we're so skeptical now.
Yeah.
We're skeptical of everything.
Everybody knows everything. You know what? Because I saw it on the internet.
Interwebs.
I saw it on that dang there. How the hell can some of these people couldn't even afford a computer for the interweb? Man, my interweb said that. Yeah, man, that Fauci.
He
can't be trusted. The guy's been a fucking doctor since before any of these fucking rednecks were born. He served every president since Reagan. So what's it? 20 years, 40 years, 1980 to 2012.
But he was Trump's best friend in the beginning, and then when the narrative changed.
Well, when he started telling the truth, when Fauci's like, well, guess what? We're going to have to wear masks.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to wear a mask. It'll fuck up my fucking orange spray tan face, and I don't look good in the mask. It's just
It's such a fucking clown show, man. The whole damn thing. It's just. When I remember saying to myself, in the mid 90s.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, mid 90s, late 90s.
I did that about 20 minutes ago in your bathroom. I'm like, self?
So I was in my early 30s when Bill Clinton kind of went and had all that escapades and that broke, right? And it was fascinating to me that you were watching, or I was watching, dyed-in-the-wool Democrats that were a generation, before me, make moral people, like really, what you would believe to be very straight-laced moral people, making excuses for the man because it was just their guy.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing the exact same thing where people are making excuses because it's just he's on our side.
You know what I love about this?
It's crazy, man.
And I'm going to use words that may be offensive to people, but these fucking Bible beaters out there who are sitting around talking about Trump is a godly man. He went out, he tear gassed somebody. He could take a picture of him manhandling. He grabbed the fucking Bible by its fucking pussy. Fucking, he just grabbed the fucking thing because when you're rich, you can do that. Because there's a real moral guy there. You know what? When you're a celebrity, they just want it. You just ask for it. They don't even have to ask. You just fucking grab them. So there's your moral fucking Bible beaters right there going, well, you know what? He is a good man. He's a one-woman man. Really, one woman? What's what? A Czechoslovakian? An American? A Slovenian? You know what? He's cheated on them all. And there's so many things. But you know what? He's a moral man. Yeah. Clinton got... Yeah. Clinton was like, you know what? He was a frat boy for a minute. He's like, yeah, you know what? I got this cigar. I'm going to give it to Castro here, or whoever it was. It's a boys club thing. This cat's out on TV telling him, and you got the guy, you got the preachers going, well, yeah, he's a very godly man. Which God?
Exactly right. And that is, it really isn't for me, it's not a criticism of Trump because I just don't care what he does. That stuff doesn't matter to me, but it's hypocritical from my viewpoint. You're going to hold morals up. And I think character counts not so much in the moral, sexual relationship stuff, but really I think there's a lot more to character that's even devoid there.
Exactly. You know what? What about Pence? He's one of the most straight-laced guys. He won't even be in a room alone with a woman. And here he is. He has to defend.
I wonder about that.
He has to defend a fucking womanizer, and you know what? And it can't be. He can't sit there and go, well, because then he's a hypocrite because he has all these things and he's in his past radio shows and
right.
I mean, I don't know the cat all that much, but I hear he's a decent guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think anyone in that Washington arena will admit to that. Yeah.
Exactly. He's a decent guy. And then your boss is a super creeper who likes filling up, 16-year-old girls at beauty pageants, walking in on them naked. Hello, grabbing people in a fucking department store. And
no, hold on now. There's a lot of creepy freaking photos of Joe Biden. I'm sorry, man. There's a lot of creepy, and I don't know anything about Kamala Harris. There's a lot of stories about her. But
there's probably a lot of stories on everybody.
that's my point.
Somebody could come up with something about me.
Well, I just think I think that the as soon as you start holding people up to higher standards than other people, it really gets a slippery slope.
But
man.
he never said,
Politics.
grab him by the pussy.
Yeah, not
Biden never did.
No, but then you're going to start looking at levels of morality, which will send us down another slippery slope. I just think that when it comes to not things he's done in his past like that, but things that he's doing while president, how he's talking to other human beings and handling his business.
Look, when you talk,
that's the issue.
When you talk to another world leader like he did to Merkel, you know what I mean? To the leader of Germany, how he talks down to these people, how he kisses people who we're against, the Chinese, the Russians, how he kisses their asses because they're the strongman dictator that he wants to be,
right?
And he turns his back on something. Come on, man. If there was any truth to the fact that Russia puts bounties out on American troops, you better believe I'd be all over it. Nah, I really don't think. He said he didn't do it. He said that, it's like, really? Because damn well they probably did. Somewhere down there, they're not just making that shit up.
Right.
And he doesn't defend the American people. Again, if he's at a bar and you need $5, you ain't getting it from him. You know what I mean? So it's like he sold us. But you're right. You don't talk to other people like that, and that's why the cat got so many votes. He sees these. Man, I hate even talking like this, but you got these people that are sitting there going, "Yeah, man, he tells people how it is. I'm going to vote for him." No, that's not how you should base your vote. And he tells people how it is. That's not being a strong leader. That's being a bully.
Well, the crazy part about this whole thing, and I will go to my grave believing this, that he blew it. And he blew it because he couldn't rein in his childish impulses.
That's exactly it.
Had he just been able to maintain his temper, find an even keel, because I think he had enough citizens kind of okay with where the economy was headed and some of the policy stuff. Not that he even understands all that stuff.
He doesn't understand it, but
that movement, that conservative movement at this time was doing rather well economically and in some other areas. That he had a groundswell of, I think he could have easily, but he just can't keep the temper. Yep. He can't keep the lewdness. He can't keep the rudeness.
Flaws.
He can't keep. He wants to go to war with everybody all the time.
He's combative.
Didn't serve him well.
Even in his own cabinet, look how many people he's turned over. You can't have a good team. You can't be a productive unit.
It's not about team, though.
Well, you can't be. If you're turning over the people around you.
Right.
You want. The Steelers play great because they keep their core. The Penguins play great because they keep their core.
Right.
These other teams that are trading off their big time players for money, they don't have. They get the team gets the money, but they don't get the success.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening when you're turning over a Secretary of State. You're firing this guy, or firing that guy. You don't have the cohesiveness of these people being in there to make what he could be the worst team captain in the world, but when you've got that team holding you up,
that's all he needed.
That's all he needed, but he wouldn't. He wanted the attention, and he even
100%.
said it. He even said it.
100%.
Ratings. It was all about. He looked at the COVID speeches, the press conferences, as ratings. And it's just like, that's not ratings. That's people's lives you're fucking playing with. Mm-hmm. But it was all about, did you see how many people watched me today instead of, The View or whatever.
What I hope is, and there's no guarantee of this, but I hope that some longtime Republicans, and hopefully some capitalists and some conservative thinkers in this country that were afraid to be independent from him. I think that once he's gone, I hope that I hope there's a reformation of the party, because the party needs to be redefined. In my opinion, outside of Donald Trump. Well, I'm sorry, people won't want to hear that. People that love him and love the party. To me, as an outsider looking in, the Republican Party has a great future, and conservative values are there. Even there's a place for that, but not under the leadership of a bore. boorish person. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And here's the thing. You know what? These cats won't speak up against him right now because he's still in power for the next 60 some odd days.
Yeah, so watch how fast things change, though.
Exactly. What after that, and what it is they're, Georgia's having a runoff. Mm-hmm. Those Republicans turned against their own Republican, what was he, Secretary of State in Georgia? They're turning against their own people because the guy said, "Let's do what's right and we'll have a recount."
Yeah.
But these cats are just so they're
the Republicans are going to win this. I think the Republican. I think it's actually healthy if we don't have three houses of government all in the same party. I think the gridlock is healthy, in my opinion.
I would like to see. I'd like to see. I hate to say. A 50-50 because then the vice president takes over.
I think they'll. I don't know.
It's but yeah, you don't want to ever see complete because but you don't want to see somebody bully somebody that's going to three judges that are going to conservative judges that are going to make for the next 40, 50 years of their lives, whatever, 40 years of their lives, because they're pretty young.
What is funny, though, about the Supreme Court, I think, is time will ultimately tell. But it appears, though, that these judges get in, and the history has been that they really kind of like, whether it's left or right, they kind of move to the center. It's like almost like a politician.
Well, that's how it should be. They shouldn't be biased one way or another.
Right.
And until you come up with a better plan than Obamacare,
right,
you better have something in place. And they don't. Right. That's what I loved. He's sitting there telling the 60 Minutes lady, he goes, I've got this plan, and they said when they looked, it was just random. Nothingness. There's no plan. There's no cohesiveness there, and he can't have it because there's no cohesive people around him. And again,
you can't rip things apart that are in play.
Yes,
even because you just disagree with the person who created it.
Yes,
if you don't have anything to replace it with,
it's going to be good. Coming up, 4 more years. We'll make America. You had 4 years to do it the first time. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you do it? You know what I mean?
Well, he's not big on social programs at all. I mean, he that's always been the knock on Republican is that they think business first and people second. That's always been the Republican knock. And I think that there's been presidents that have, I think the first Bush and the second Bush tried to carve out a different kind of feel for Republicans. And I think to some degree that was done. But it's all been reversed now. When you look back on this, this was going to be strictly a business president.
Yeah.
C.
And that's what. And
I think.
But yeah, that's what he had said. You know what I mean? They knew what he was going to be. It was economy, and unfortunately, something bad happened. There was a virus, and the people needed them, and they're worried still about an economy. And you can't fix the economy with people out of work, with people suffering, with people dying, with people in fear. You can't do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've got half the country wanting to go out and take their masks off and run around and go on motorcycle rallies or go to spring break or go to their restaurants or go to their gyms. Yeah, you can do it, but guess what? You're going to get sick.
Yeah.
And what about and taunting the other folks that don't want to get sick? Man, I've been around the world. I've been in the Southeast Asia where they wear a mask as a courtesy. You know why? Not, if they're sick, they don't want to get you sick.
Yeah.
And you've got these people with their masks. It's a chin bra is what it is.
It's terrible.
But they're going to tell people, I don't like wearing it.
Yep. I don't either at all.
You know what? I got elderly relatives. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got that.
Exactly.
No, we're not thinking it through.
Exactly. But that's why this society has turned into a me first.
Well, it's been that
society for a long time. Mm-hmm. And very rarely do you have somebody that says, "Hey, look, I'll look out for you." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we need to get back to as this country. That's part of the healing of the country. Mm-hmm.
What's so great? I love the fact that we have so many diverse opinions. See, I view that as such a positive thing, man. I just do. I
think that's healthy as well.
I don't, and there's a lot of things. Look, the far right terrifies me, and the far left really terrifies me. But that's okay.
You can have your opinion.
That's okay.
But let me have mine.
Absolutely right.
And that's exactly...
You need it. It's yin and the yang. You can't have good without bad.
And my opinion may not be right. And that's the thing with like religion. And it is. It's religion and politics. Things you don't talk about in a bar. You know what I mean?
But you talk about them on a podcast.
But you can talk about them even though I didn't want to. Look what we did. We made a good podcast about talking. But that's exactly it. I mean, just because I wear a mask, it's for my protection. It's for my family's protection. It's for the people I want around protection. But, there's something going out there that's killing people and it's invisible.
Right.
And you know what? For your safety, for my safety, just wear it.
Is it, you think we've got do you believe in that 18-month, 20-month theory? That would put us till next fall, I think. Right?
Look at history again. People are denying the science. People are denying the history. It's happened every for the past 400 or 500 years.
Right.
The same time, same thing.
It's cyclical.
And how long did it last? It lasted 2 years. It lasted 18 months, 2 years. Yeah. Each of those things.
Right.
Each of those time periods. So but you know what? If we can knock the hell out of it by just listening to science,
right,
and following guidelines. I laugh. They said that had we acted 2 weeks earlier, it would have eliminated the first 90,000 cases. A period of just people listening, and they didn't.
It's America, man. We think we know everything.
We know what's best. We don't have to do it. You can't make me do it because it's my God-given constitutional right to, We have
internet degrees, man.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm not a genius. I'm not a political guy. I'm not anything that but I know that I want to be kind to somebody else.
Right on.
I'm not gonna sit around and hurt somebody else.
Right.
If you want me to do something, ask me.
Yeah.
If I and I'll be glad to do it because I'm not a me. I like to say it. There's people that would disagree, but I'm not a me first kind of fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
If you ask me to help you. Yeah, if you want me to wear a mask, I'll do it.
Right.
If you tell me to take my mask off, no, I'm not going to do it because that is where I need to be me first.
Right.
Because it protects me and the people around me. So I'm going to look out for you.
Right. And
I'm going to look out for me.
Right.
You know what? If you want to do that, stay over there.
Yeah.
Stay
the fuck over there.
Exactly. Because and this is what I say. We go to the bar and we play, and. It's rough. It's rough on the bars. Yes, of course it's rough. You have to close early. You're not making as much money. You can't be capacity. And the people are in there and they're doing their masks and they're suffering. But I tell myself, I don't know where that cat's coming from.
Yep.
And we're out in the sticks. I mean, where we play, it's Washington County. It's out in the woods.
Right.
There's not that many people. There's not that many city slickers coming in there to play.
City slickers.
But the thing is you don't know who ate dinner down in Pittsburgh that night, and now they're going to come out and play, and a waitress coughed in their glass.
Oh, it's always the case. It's always the case.
So you know what? It's best for me to stay sorry. And forever, I've slathered, I'm a germaphobe. Man, be a germaphobe in a pandemic.
During COVID.
My God. And what's funny is I have hand sanitizer out the ass because somebody made a joke one time that because I'm a hand sanitizer nut, they got me like a case of it. There was we played a show and like something was a sponsor, some hand sanitizer.
Right.
So I got all these little mini bottles, and somebody went and thought it was hilarious to empty out one of my Roadbox drawers and just dump a box of it in there. So
turns out they were handy.
And I'm like, you know what? That was a lifesaver for me. But so I mean, I'm constantly having hand sanitizer on me. But again, like I said, when you go out and play, you don't know where these. I take my mask down when I play. I put it on when I walk to the bar. If I'm in a confined area like a bathroom, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I get outside, I'll take it off. And I stay around the same people that I know that I'm with.
Right.
And again, if I got some drunk hanging on me, it's just like, man, because sometimes they wear masks, sometimes they don't, but I've got enough hand sanitizer that
Start drinking that shit.
yeah, I have.
Before we wrap it up, do you think our current president's going to vacate peacefully and correctly?
He will not vacate correctly. There's been 3 presidents in the history of the United States that did not go to their successor's inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
This cat will be the same. When he vacates, you're not going to see him. He's moving to Florida, and hopefully a fucking hurricane comes out there and takes out Key Largo or whatever the fuck it is down there. And but yeah, that cat's he's kind of blown it. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to show his face. I don't think he's going to do the right thing. Right. He's going to leave because he knows, this is all show. It's him trying to make his last big puff up to make himself seem bigger and make himself seem tough.
Yeah, he doesn't want that to go away.
But yeah, well, nobody does. It's like being famous, man. It's just, you don't, once you have that, once you taste that, and you're the...
Can you imagine how aphrodisiac it is to have that kind of power?
That kind of power. That's what I was just getting to. He has that kind of power. And, they said when he got voted in, he just sat there for like a couple minutes looking at the TV in disbelief when they said he won. He never expected that.
Yeah, I believe that to be true.
He never expected that. It seemed like he was doing everything he could in his power to blow it. And now you have, but once you get that taste, and that's what I always say, man, and I'm not being a dick, but it's even like that with me. Once you taste that big stage,
right.
once you're touring another country, and once somebody knows your name,
right.
Once you come home, if my
and
people
you hit the sheets, get some milk.
yeah. People tell you when you long for that.
Yeah.
You long for that feeling of not saying it's a powerful feeling, but you long for that recognition.
Right.
And
right.
I think I've handled it, in a way. You and I've talked about this before. It's going to end eventually.
Right.
And if you do it gracefully, or you can do it kicking and screaming. And at one point I always said I would do it kicking and screaming, but now I'm like, you know what? I think the graceful way is the way to go. It's better to burn out than to fade away. No. I'd rather fade away.
I just can't imagine this guy fading away from the presidency.
He's not going to.
Yeah.
You
don't think he'll go to the inauguration?
He's not going to go to the inauguration. No, the world will see him. He's a loser, and that's and that's the big thing. And it's like a Hallmark movie. It's like an after school schedule. The big bully has finally got kicked, and for everybody he called a loser, he lost.
Yeah.
And now he got a taste of his own medicine. Now you could either gracefully accept defeat and say, yes, this is how it's been. Someone wins, somebody loses. Nope.
Yeah, it's clearly going to screw with his legacy. This will be the first president that really is going to be. He could end up being shunned by his own party from a legacy standpoint. Well, it could happen.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
It could happen.
These cats that are loyal to him are only loyal to him because he's still in power. They're afraid for their own damn jobs. As soon as he gets out, these cats are going to do everything they can to make everything run smooth again.
He may face some legal challenges.
He's going to. My God, he's going to. Look, I wish I could pay zero taxes and $750 in taxes. That's a whole different ball game. Because for once, I actually got interested in politics this year when there's nothing else to do, and you're tired.
I think you and a lot of people did.
You're tired of playing based
upon the voting. I would think you and a lot of people
exactly. Did. And what's funny is I talk to people. They're like, "Why are you so into this?" I just am. Yeah. I for some reason, and when I run in 2028. I'm going to have a head start.
Save your sorry ass platform.
On the save your sorry ass platform. But But that's these cats are you're going to see a change coming up, and I believe it's going to be a good change.
I hope.
Yeah, we're going to have to suck it up and wear. Sorry, Whoopi. She said suck it up the other day, and I guess the internet went nuts. And but we're going to have to, just suck it up, wear the masks, do what science says, and we're going to be out of this a lot sooner than later.
Yeah,
because if we don't, you know what? We're just going to keep dragging this on forever. Other countries have 0 cases.
Yeah.
Other countries have knocked it down. Other countries, have it in control. We knew there was going to be a second wave. We know there's going to be a third wave.
We're obstinate here, though. We think that no one. We take in the concept of freedom and rights and kind of perverted those terms.
Yes.
And we think that means fuck on other people because of the rights and freedoms we have. That's not what it's about.
No.
It's not what it's about.
Here, you know what? And before we go, if you want to describe it like this, and we'll probably have all kinds of people calling for our heads. It's like being a radical Muslim. The Quran says one thing. There is, what they say, there's no other God but Allah. So these fuckers take it as, you know what, we're going to go kill everybody else that doesn't agree with us.
Right.
And that's what's happening in America. Now we're just as bad as the terrorists we look at as bad, because if someone disagrees with what you think,
it's a good point.
you're just as bad. We've radicalized ourselves. You know what? I'm coining that term here, so I better not see it on like a news.
Radicalized American.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a cult. Mm-hmm. And if somebody else's view is different than you, then you eliminate them, and that's wrong.
Well, we have a show coming up together here. We have a show actually with multiple people. What the UFO show is immediately on the horizon, hopefully in a week or two. So get ready there, Kowalo.
What's
have all
fun?
Your shit together.
You know what?
We're going to put you on the spot this time because you've been snaking around and being real sneaky to prior shows, just dipping and weaving.
Weaving behind.
We're going to put you on the spot.
Well, you don't want me to go down. Look, I don't talk about politics, and it's just me tonight. And we're going to. If you get me on these alien shows and alien things, you don't know where it's going to go. I mean, it could be. You might have to make it like a 2 or 3 parter.
We could do that. I appreciate it, man, as always. It's a show 150 tonight. Do you realize that? Show 150.
I got political on show 150.
150. And we've been at it, I think you were show 3, I think.
Yeah.
You started with show 3 and multiples in, but you've been there from the beginning, and I appreciate it, man. You think we could get there 150 in like 20 months. That's
amazing. And you know what? It looks great. It's a great podcast, and it's just going to keep growing in popularity.
We've had some amazing people sitting right across the table, and I pinch myself like, wow, I can't believe that person's really here.
You don't have to say that about me, man. I mean, I'm here all the time.
All right, friends. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for listening. Sir Freddy Kowalo, yours truly. We are out.